All right, Vikings on three. 1, 2, 3. Vikings!
My name is Corbin McKay. I'm captain and president of Western Washington University's men's crew.
I'm Jackson Wood, vice president.
David Anderson, financial officer.
And welcome to the Jack Maryland Shell House. While Western Washington University is a club team, there's a lot more to us than just that.
Hi, I'm Bob Deal. I'm one of the people who started that WILD program up at Western. We would travel all over the country, and keeping track of those kids during the 70s was wild, let me tell you that. But we had some great regattas. We had, at that time, the largest regatta, collegiate regatta on the West Coast was on Lake Sammamish, and we ran that for 2 or 3 years. And it was thousands of people would show up for that. When I got back to Bellingham out of the Army, I kind of always wanted to give something back to rowing, and once you're a rower, you're always a rower. And Western is such a magnificent asset to our community that when I was asked to do this, I just couldn't turn it down. And I thought, well, I want to give this a try.
I'm Will Ruth. I've been the strength coach since 2013, and this year I joined the team as an on-water full-time assistant coach. This program rows on one of the hardest lakes to row in the country as far as the amount of wind that we get and how little shelter we have out there. We're the northernmost college club team in the country as well, so we get the least amount of light of any program. We're out there with spotlights most mornings throughout the year. Daylight savings messes us up both times, both in fall as well as in spring. And then the team literally raises all of the fundraising money basically off of their own backs, through the Rent-A-Rower program and through their own hard work. Truly, if these guys go on and graduate and they put half of the effort that they put into rowing into anything else, they will be successful. These guys are getting up at 4 in the morning every single morning. Their lifestyle has to be arranged around morning practice, afternoon practice when they're lifting weights or cross training. Weekend travel means they've got to get ahead on their homework. Then making improvement in the sport has to have a proper amount of sleep, diet, nutrition, recovery, all that stuff in play. All of those skills, if they can just figure out how to put that amount of work into anything else, that's where the real opportunity of sport comes in for a college athlete.
It transforms an individual into a team player if they're not already a team player. It can transform people into a fitness junkie if they're not already. It teaches people how to give back to your community. So, rowing is a fantastic sport.
that's something that we pride ourselves on with Western Washington Men's Crew, is the fact that each year, we get large numbers of people that are very competitive, and we still put out very competitive boats for being a club team.
Taking are killing your soul. Baby, you gotta let go. The drugs that you're taking are killing your soul. Body is moving, distorting. I just don't get it. I don't get it. So
everyone on this team is willing to give 100+%. I just don't get it, I don't get it. It's so black and blue, I'm drawn into you, magnetic, you're magnetic. Everybody on our team, I think the majority of our boats average about 180 pounds and maybe 6 foot. So it's a pretty rewarding experience when you do get to race against somebody like that and beat somebody larger than you, and be that team that does show up, and be the little guy on the course that ends up taking the medals. That's been something that's really, I guess, stood out to me over the 4 years of rowing.
Baby, you gotta let go. The drugs that you're taking are killing your soul. Baby, you gotta let go. The drugs that you're taking are killing your soul.
So I think one of my favorite memories that I have from the team is last year when we were getting ready for one of our bigger races. We sat down with our coach and we all went through a visualization drill. It's something that I'd never done before, but it turns out it gets you pretty hyped for the race.
You're magnetic. You're magnetic. You're magnetic. You're magnetic.
The reason it stands out was just a really positive memory. Is that was one of the moments that I realized that each person is taking it just as seriously as I am. And so each person was taking that visualization very seriously, and each person was going to go 110% as soon as they showed up the next day at that race. And that's something that always has stood apart with different teams that I've been a part of. And that's something that I'm really happy to be a part of, and I would never give that up.
I don't get it.